All right, then. Let's check out this video from It's Senpai. We've watched a video from him before. It was a good video, actually. Is Dreamlink replacing quick swaps? Version 1.4 dev message breakdown. I'll just throw it out there. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be replacing quick swaps. In terms of, like, from a meta point, I guess it's going to obviously be adding nuance to the game, but I don't think it's going to be replacing quick swaps. Again, I think this potentially could be like a test bed for this game mechanic coming into the game and maybe potentially proliferating throughout the rest of the game into other events and maybe into the main part of the game at a later date, and something to build on, add extra nuance, make some real synergies between the different characters and teams. It'll be really interesting to see what they do actually. But let's get into this video then and see what he's got to say.
So the version 1.4 dev notes just got announced, containing a ton of new features that Kuro wants to try out and some that are meant to solve existing issues in the game. But the one that caught my attention was the new combat.
I think it is the one that caught everybody's attention, and you are right as well. It is pretty basic. It's not bad, but it's basic, isn't it? You know, when you look at something like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, that's a lot more flashy. But I suppose as a starting point, it's not bad.
New combat event called Dreamlink. As some of you may already know, one thing that I truly love about Wuthering Waves is their combat system, and I think this could be a testing ground to see player engagement so that they can implement it in the game if the player engagement was mostly positive in the future. It says that Dreamlink is a new combat mechanism that enhances the synergy between your resonators, allowing them to unlock their full potential.
So when we look at it, is it intros, outros, or is it just your forte skill filled out? Because it looks like it's a mixture of them, if I'm honest. I don't know if it's like, you know, when your bar's full and you hit your ability. Because looking at here, you can see Chang Li's Phoenix. You can see, what is it, the punishment mark or the judgment mark? I can't remember now, from Yinlin, going off all at the same time. Because I know Satan was talking about seeing the other resonators on field, but I don't think you can see the other resonators on field, can you? You can just see their abilities, can't you?
When certain conditions align during combat, Dreamlink will activate, dramatically amplifying your team's combat powers.
I wonder what the conditions will be as well.
This says nothing about what Dreamlink actually is, and the demo footage was very choppy and too fast, so I slapped some optical flow on it to see exactly what was going on. I apologize for the low quality because the footage on the website was all that I could work with. It turns out that this is a combat mechanism very similar to quick swaps. When Dreamlink was activated in the demo footage, the first thing you see if you go frame by frame is Chang Li's resonance skill activation, followed by Yinlin's resonance skill activation as well. In this frame right here, you can see that all three characters are on the field at the same time, which is something that...
So it kind of is when you're quick swapping in and out, isn't it, really? So they're not on field, but they're there for that frame or two, just like when you do a quick swap. Interesting. I don't think it's going to replace quick swap, though. But I didn't notice that.
It's only possible using quick swaps until now. Right after casting their skill, Rover is the one that stays on the field, and then Chang Li's intro skill kicks in suddenly, indicating that as the characters stayed on the field at that time using their skills, they were able to gain concerto energy, which is also very similar to quick swaps. Right after Chang Li's intro skill, Rover kept attacking the enemy, activating Yinlin's coordinated attacks, and then...
I wonder if maybe to like achieve it, then you'll have to do some quick swapping as a way to, because that'd be a cool way. So I don't think it's going to replace it anyway, but it'd be a cool way to enhance quick swapping. So the more you quick swap, the more likely you're going to get Dreamlink, you know, to get the ultimate quick swap basically mashed together. That'd be kind of interesting.
Later followed up by Yinlin's intro skill. After that, you can see Yinlin's puppet on the field, which she then uses to activate her resonance skill. And then Chang Li activates her intro skill once again. This is a very nice feature to have as an...
Interesting though, like, are they going to replace, like, you say, could it be replacing your ults, or is there going to be an extra input within the mode to do it? You know what I mean? Or is it going to be replacing something? Is it going to replace your echo potentially? Which, if that's the case, then it's probably not going to go into the main game unless they develop it a lot more. I'm curious to see what's going to replace, or we're going to have an additional input to activate it.
Event, but it will ruin the fun experience and skill expression.
Or once you get it, it just replaces that skill. I don't know, whatever it might be, your ult, a switch, an outro, an intro, whatever it might be. That just, once you enact that, it replaces that instead, maybe. That'll probably be what it will, won't it?
if this combat mechanism gets added to the main combat mechanism of the game. Quick swaps already received a major blow by preventing your characters from keeping outro buffs, but you get to enjoy other benefits like resonance and...
Is this going to be a way that we get like a proxy buff for your boy Calculator? Do you reckon? This could potentially actually really help Calculator out, right? Still going to not change the fact of his combo break and long animations, but, you know, just throwing it out there.
Energy acquisition and concerto energy regeneration. Kuro, please make this only temporary. There's also another event called Illusive Sprint, where you can pick up Cat's blessings to enter the Illusive Sprint state.
Now Cucumber's cooked, you know.
This sounded perfectly fine to me, but the other part that says Lumi also has the same feature built into her kit that allows her to...
I was talking about this as well in, I don't know if I mentioned in the last video uploaded or in the live stream. Wouldn't it be an interesting vehicle to bring in traversal power creep, if you will, into the game via 4-star characters? Because obviously we know in Genshin, it's comparing, that obviously there's premium 5-star characters that have like, you know, movement, power creep, if you will, but only works in, well, you only get the 100% of that power creep in specific areas. And obviously, if you ain't got them characters, you ain't got that ability. Now, I know there's some people who'd rather just maybe stick to echoes that give you that, you know, traversal buff, if you will. But 4 stars could be a good way of doing it as well, couldn't they? Because it's like, okay, free-to-play players then are not going to miss out on a sprint, potentially, a faster climb, a higher jump, I don't know, you know, whatever you can think of, a character that maybe has an ability to glide longer when they're using a glider, just, you know, just little things like that. And that way then, they could bring in, I guess, like, the power creep of traversal, but it wouldn't really affect people because it'd be part of 4 stars. The only thing is then you'd have to have that 4-star on field to be able to do that. But you'd have to do it anyway if it was in the 5-star character. And it would be more fair anyway if it was in a 4-star character. I think Echoes would probably be the best way to go about it though.
Sprint out of harm's way and can attack enemies simultaneously raises some questions. Dodging helps you enter an animation that makes you invulnerable and also helps you regain concerto energy as well. So unless Lumi can sprint faster than the Flash, it's still better to dodge because some enemies have a very large area of effect damage.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's really going to be necessarily something that's going to affect combat too much. Now, potentially people who are really good might find ways out to find some new tech through that new mechanic and combining it with, I don't know, we'll have to see, you know, if there's potentially some sort of cancellation you can do. We won't know until she comes out, will we? I think it's probably more for overworld stuff, isn't it? And maybe potentially closing the distance on enemies sometimes, or groups where you want to get closer. I don't think it'll be impacting one-on-one fights, really. And will she be that good that it's worth switching out another premium 5-star character in that role to gain that, unless she's really good in what she does? We don't know yet, do we? I guess we'll see. But yeah, I think it's more going to be a thing that's going to affect the overworld more than anything, isn't it?
No more once Lumi gets officially released, so be sure to check the channel for her advanced breakdown in version 1.4. The next feature is a weapon cosmetic that allows you to make weapons partially transparent. I don't know exactly how I'm going to use this feature, so comment down below.
Somebody actually commented on my latest video actually saying that maybe it could be used for, like, you know, goofing around and just taking photos. And I was like, actually, that's probably the best example I've heard, really. Because I get the rectifiers and the gauntlets, but I don't know why I want a semi-transparent sword. But I suppose if you want to take, like, a goofy photo, maybe? But even then, I'm like, yeah, you can miss me with that one.
How you're going to benefit from this. Kuro will also roll out a leveling optimization that allows you to spend double wave plate for double rewards from forgery, simulation, and tacit suppression challenges. So what this basically means is that you don't need to play it over and over again, which becomes very boring.
This is a good thing. It's not really the same as Star Rails, but it's kind of a little bit, you know, where you can do the extra levels. But I wonder, do you reckon we'll ever get like a combat skip? I was saying this before, like maybe we could have a set amount of like combat skips per week. Because I understand that if you keep skipping this, it's kind of skipping a major part of the game. But like, you know, they give you like, I don't know, you get 5 skips a week or 10 skips a week, and you can just be like, right, you get the materials without having to go into the forgery or the simulation or whatever it might be, the tacit field, and you just get the mats. But you can only do it so many times a week, so you know, you got to pick and choose where you want to do it, or if you're in a rush one day, just skip through all that content. I think it'd be kind of interesting to add.
Sometimes because you're only there to obtain materials and the enemies are too weak for you to even enjoy the fight anyway. The next feature on the list of updates is related to echo tuning, where you can automatically select the materials that are needed for the echo to reach specific
something like that would be kind of cool.
Can be tuned. I personally level all my echoes to level 20 and then tune it 4 times simultaneously. But I believe this will be beneficial to those that...
I don't do that actually. I usually do the first 2. If the first 2 are absolutely trash, I just drop that shit. But usually you get baited, don't you? The first 2 are decent, and then the next 2 are just ass. You know? But you get a nice crit damage, crit rate, you know, depending on the carries you get a nice percentage one then, and then it's just like defense. It's like, yeah, all right, bro. Fucking baited me. But yeah, I usually do the first 2. Don't usually go all the way in until I'm deciding whether it's one I want to keep, and it's less of the tuners, it's more on the experience.
That prefer to tune their echoes once or twice at a time before moving to the next level, which can also help them.
Boy, he's broke. That's why he's fucking broke, man, because he keeps doing 4s.
Save resources, because what I understand about this feature is that it automatically selects the right materials that allow the echo to reach a specific level, which is better than manually selecting the materials or sealed tubes, because sometimes you can even use more than necessary. So overall, this is a very good feature. Additionally,
true, you can use more than necessary, but it's just annoying. You need to be like click, 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 right, level 5, or click 1 for level 5, and then click a couple more, and then click a couple more, when you could just go, tap me to level 5, tap me to level 10, tap me to level 15, and it's just done for you.
When you log into the game after version 1.4, you can see the amount of wave plate and wave plate crystals that you have, which prevent you from always opening your map to navigate to the top right hand side to see how many.
Always weird that it's part of the map as well, isn't it? You know, you'd think when you just open the UI, it'd just be there anyway, rather than going to the map. It's kind of weird for me. Always that was. I was like, why do I need to go to the map to check these? I guess it's kind of related to the map because you're going to be using the map to go and look to spend, but it's just like, having them there when you log in is a good thing.
You have left. The last feature update is also very good since it allows you to view the main stats and substats of the echoes that you have.
Definitely for overworld stuff, and I suppose it's less for boss stuff, because if you're just farming one particular boss over and over again, you got that couple of minutes that you wait anyway. Again, give us a bait so we can do it instantly. You're going to probably have a little bit more chance to be like, well, I'll go and look at the echo, maybe level it up a little bit if it's a decent one. But yeah, definitely for overworld stuff, this is a really good thing, this is.
Absorbed in the overworld, which prevents you from going into your backpack and sort it according to time added to be able to see the recent echoes that you have obtained. Overall, these updates are very good, which seeks to bring quality of life changes to the game. The only thing I'm worried about is making Dreamlink a permanent mechanic, but let me know what you guys think in the comments section.
I can understand the worry about Dreamlink potentially becoming something permanent. I don't think they will just act upon it quickly, though. We've got no reason to think other than, you know, conjecture that it might become permanent. If it does, I think it'll be a while. I think it'll come in, they'll testbed it in this new mode. We don't even know if it'll stay around when this mode becomes permanent, because this event's going to end and then it's going to be permanent, isn't it? So maybe Dreamlink will go away with this part of the patch, and then, you know, when it stays permanently, it's not there. So I feel like it might be a little bit of a test. Maybe it'll go away, it'll come back, they'll fiddle with it, they'll twist some knobs and slide some sliders, you know what I mean? Because that's how gaming works, isn't it? That's how game development works, you know, they literally slide stuff and it works. But you know, I feel like that's how they'll go about it. If they do plan to potentially bring it into the game, I think first things first, they'll get a gauge of how the community reacts to it, whether they like it or they just think it's trash or it's just, you know, not much fun at all. And then I think they'll go from there. But I'm not worried about it just being chucked into the main game, because I just don't think that's going to happen, because I think Kuro understand they've got a really good combat system here. And of all the things about the game, I think the combat system is probably seen critically as the best part of the game, isn't it? And of course, there's going to be people who've got their preference in which is the best part of Wuthering Waves, but I think it's probably safe to say majority of people, when he says to them, what's the best thing about Wuthering Waves, I think, you know, majority of people but combat, you know? Then there'd be like the character design and stuff like that and graphics. But I feel like combat would probably be the number one opinion from most people anyway. So I feel like to fiddle with it like that and just throw it out there, they'd really be risking fucking the game up big time, wouldn't they?
Catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
So please,
I remember that video, man. Yeah, good video, you know. I like the fact that he went to the lengths like an actual real content creator and slowing down that footage from the website, because I just looked at it and I was like, you know, all right, let's just make shit up, you know? So actually good to see that it does look like the quick swapping. So it does look like intro skills rather than fortes. And you can actually see the characters on, they don't stay on, but they're like, it's basically when you're quick swapping and you know the character stays on field for that second. So it looks like it is playing kind of the part of quick swapping and introing all together. It seems like it lasts longer than an intro as well, doesn't it? It seems to like, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it's going to replace quick swapping. I think it might add to it. It'll be interesting to see. I'm really interested in that. I think that's the main thing that we're looking for now is what's going to be the trigger to start it, and then how does it start, you know? Okay, let's say you do A, B, C. Now you can Dreamlink. What do you press to Dreamlink? Does it replace your ult? Does it replace your skill? You know, does it replace like the character swap? So when you character swap, it just automatically does it. Is it going to be like a heavy attack? You initiate a heavy attack, it does it. Because like maybe you don't want to initiate Dreamlink and you want to do something else before you do it because it replacing a particular skill or input now. That could annoy people a little bit, couldn't it? You could have like a bit of a Zenless situation where people are like, well, I didn't want to switch there, and they have to change it. And maybe they add an extra input. I don't think they will, because I feel like that might become cumbersome. But I suppose they've got to look at how they do it, and we will see soon enough. We will see. But yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out, it's Senpai, great content creator. Show him some love, make some good videos, man.